the dynamics between individuals, who you attract, how people interact with each other, even when they're witnessing something like racism or homophobia happening right in front of them, or even knowing that they are choosing to relate to and be with a known narcissist or somebody who is an abusive person. Hi, my name is Shasta May Hernandez, pronouns they, them, their. In today's video, I'm going to bring up 3 uncomfortable truths, and we will also talk about some things that you can move into to welcome something new. So stick around and we will get right into it. So there are 3 distinct points I want to bring up in this video in regards to narcissism, abuse, racism, homophobia, and trauma. All of these energies is what I will refer to them as are energy states that we have been cycling through and repeating many times over in our society as a collective, and maybe in your workplace, maybe even in your church or your spiritual community. The uncomfortable truths that we need to face with these energies, number 1, is that they cannot be destroyed, just as you cannot be destroyed. As you sit with that energy, I also want to add that the universe will take care of these energies. Balance is being restored. Your job is to go within, eyes in, heal within yourself, forgive within yourself, and transmute these energies into something new. Uncomfortable truth number 2. These energies have watched, observed, and learned just as you have. They have access to all the same information that you do. And in many ways, these energies have found better ways of covering up more covertly in the world they are existing, and not so covertly. In many ways, very extrovertedly and openly, just as you may be living openly and extrovertedly, happily and proudly, so too are they. And in stating this uncomfortable truth, it is important that you stay vigilant, you remain in alignment with what is most important to you, and you remain centered so that you can move from a place of groundedness and responding from a place of strength at great length versus reaction from emotion or from a trauma response like fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. There is value in being able to operate consistently over a long period of time in order to truly not only heal, but to transcend these energies and move into something truly new that offers us a way out of this dynamic. Now, uncomfortable truth number 3 is that these energies have built up and fortified systems and operations over many, many years. And these systems and operations enable them to continue. And it's not just systems in the way of infrastructure, right? If you're thinking of like a company or an organization or capitalism in general, I'm also talking about relationships, the dynamics between individuals, who you attract, how people interact with each other, even when they're witnessing something like racism or homophobia happening right in front of them, even knowing that they are choosing to relate to and be with a known narcissist or somebody who is an abusive person. And these are things that we must learn to not only accept, but to understand that we cannot control what these people choose to do, how these systems choose to operate and continue. What we must do is redirect our energy into building our own systems, to creating our own operations, to healing our own ways of relating and choosing to relate in a new way to all people, beings, and systems on this planet, and to continue to foster those ways and nurture those ways of being, celebrating those ways of being, celebrating and being in community that wants to continue to foster those ways of being or new ways of being, to nurture that and to continue creating and doing so at great length with consistency, coming from a place of groundedness and centeredness, not so much as a reaction to any of these other energies, but more as a response to the healing and internal love that you have within and for those on this planet. Now, I want to talk about some energies that we can move into in spite of some of the more shadow aspects that we are currently seeing in our environments, in our society at large. And these are not the only truths. These are energies that have come through as I've been sitting with what each of these energies represents on the shadow side and really understood not only my part in how I have interacted with these energies in my life, having grown up with some of these energies, but also sitting in meditation and really understanding some things that may be helpful as we move forward into creating a new dynamic or new systems that are just as robust and long-lasting, sustainable, and healthy for something new and different. So the first energy that I want to talk about is going from narcissism to altruism and spending more energy and time not only being of service, giving selflessly, but how we can create systems that foster altruistic deeds, that foster altruistic thinking, energy states, and ways that can inspire people to want to continue in this energy state versus the other. The second one that I want to bring up is moving from abuse to restorative justice. And there are many ways to go about restorative justice. And I want to say with this, it's important to focus on the system or systems that we currently have in place and how we can inspire those to expand outside of what they're currently doing, how we can as a society continue to nurture the systems that are working toward restorative justice and are helping, while also expanding on those and being able to multiply them throughout our society so that we can foster more of this energy of healing in not only ourselves and in our communities, but within different systems at large, like corporations, like religions, like education systems, and so on and so forth. So as we move into systems of restorative justice, I think it's important to honor what is already working and then see what areas we can expand upon step by step in a lasting and sustainable manner. The third energy that I want to bring up is moving from racism to self-actualization. And in this way, we redirect our energy not only toward the self, but toward creating a life for the self that is in alignment with the truest version of the self, which is, I believe, light energy. If you've been following my platform, either on Instagram or here, you will see that a lot of what I teach is moving away from binary structures, from forced labels and constructs that do not honor the truest source of who we are within, which is light energy. Honoring the soul of each human being allows us to be able to connect more deeply on a spiritual level that is without these constructs that hold us back and limit us from deeply relating from the truest source, which is our light energy. Focusing on systems that can move us into self-actualization, on leaders who are helping us to move into this space, on people and places and organizations that are offering tools for individuals and groups and communities to self-actualize together, will be something that will become more important as we come together and create new systems for the greater good. Now, the fourth energy that I want to bring up is moving from homophobia to self-empowerment. This energy is healing in the sense that it, again, is moving away from social constructs that limit individuals into certain types of labels and allows them to focus on self and the inner power that lies within, and to be able to not only heal that, but to allow that part of themselves to come through and shine out into this world in all the beautiful ways that they are meant to. Again, coming from that light-centered, soul-centered place, so that we can continuously dismantle these energies of binary constructs, of gender constructs, of race constructs that do not actually exist and were made up as a way for us to categorize and divide. And we are moving away from these energies as a collective, and through self-empowerment and fostering connections of self-empowerment and nurturing systems of self-empowerment and celebrating organizations and leaders who focus on self-empowerment, we will continue to see a way through and away from this energy into something new. Lastly, I want to touch on moving from trauma to self-determination. Now, trauma in itself can be experienced from any of the energies that I have previously mentioned, any of the shadow energies that I have already mentioned. You can have trauma from any of those, and it is in moving into self-determination that you will be able to move forward and find your path, your soul's purpose, your calling, whatever you want to call it, and be able to move into something new from a place of, again, coming from this light and soul energy, while also honoring your own autonomy and ability and capability to be able to move forward as an individual, and if you choose, in community. Finally, to close out this video that is quite serious but also necessary, that changing a system, any that is this robust, that highlights, that honors, that continues to feed these energies, takes time. Healing in general takes time. And I want to encourage you to find ways to be able to sustainably and strategically continue. Both of these energies of sustainability and strategy are going to be ever more important moving forward. And especially when we're talking about creating something new that maybe we don't entirely know all of what it is yet, or all of what it will be. It will require a great amount of fortitude and faith to be able to do so, and moving in a way that allows us to continue at great length, but wisely. I hope that you have support, that you have community, and that you have the willingness to participate and continue. No matter where you are in your life, no matter what is going on around you, I want you to know that I'm doing that, and I know many other people are too. So you are not alone. Thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next video.